Welcome to this leadership conversation brought to you by the Indo-German Chamber of Commerce. My name is Drishtirupa and I am joined today by Mr. Rahul Oza, the Managing Director and CEO of Rödl India. Thank you so much, Rahul, for joining us today. You have been working with international companies and in the Indian business landscape. I'd like to start at that.
Yeah. First of all, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to be here. It's a lovely platform and thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. In your work with the international companies who are entering and or evolving, expanding in India, where do you see the biggest gap right now? Is it just the strategy or the execution or maybe just understanding of the market itself?
See, let me start with a clear statement that the gap is getting closer. So people are more focused on the Indian market and are identifying and doing their homework while entering the Indian market. In general, the 3 points which you mentioned are still a problem. Many times the market is still underestimated and the own product or service is probably for the European market, for the German market, perfect, but for the Indian market it needs some tweaks, which is not always easy for German or European entrepreneurs to adapt to it. The strategy is we see it many times that people have a one-fits-it-all strategy, which does not go very well in India. You know it, India is a multinational state actually. It is a multicultural state, multilingual state. People still at times do underestimate the geographical span, the cultural span, and with that the marketability of their products. Yes,
it's actually a whole world, a mini world, the whole EU, so to say.
Absolutely, we have similar amount of states, languages, and origins and cultures, and even geographically, I think it's almost the same size. So we see the issues in the European Union. So how can it be easier here?
Isn't it? And now that we talk about European Union, why not talk about the FTA, the EU-India FTA, which has been in talks for so long and now concluded. Finally. And now that it's concluded, what's the on-ground response of the businesses actually? Just the German investments into India, how is it, how does it look like? What are you seeing?
Well, we see a very enthusiastic business community on both sides. Even for the Indian entrepreneurs, this opens a huge market comparatively. For the European entrepreneurs, it is as well a very important segment and milestone which they have, which we have now achieved. How it actually pans down, we will still have to see. As you know, the legal formulation is still under process. The first drafts have been circulated, but we don't know exactly the numbers of customs duties, how they will go down. But it will have a significant impact, that is for sure. And the enthusiasm is absolutely correct, because there's a psychological effect and impact on it. The moment if two countries have a FTA, they feel as they belong to each other. Amongst all other nations and economic regions, these two countries or regions have a tie-up, a commitment towards each other that we want to trade first. Trading, the economic growth of both our regions are important. This is the psychological effect which is as well coming on the ground. We see a huge movement towards India. I'm now since 2008 advising predominantly German companies, but the enthusiasm, the excitement which companies have today is unseen before.
That's very interesting that you say, because when it comes to FTA, it's something that we've been talking so much that at some point there are so many who don't even know what this exactly means to businesses. What exactly is the free trade agreement? How does it look like on ground? That's something that's quite vague at times, you know.
Currently, it is vague, but it is. We have to see how, for example, India has in the past developed economic ties with countries where they have already a long-lasting FTA or similar agreements. As an example, for example, Japan and South Korea, though one of it is not an FTA but a kind of a low-hanging fruit agreement. And if you see how Japanese companies and how South Korean companies are doing business in India and how successful they are, that shows where, from the European Union, where we can further expand our business here.
Okay, that is very insightful, not just for businesses, also for leaderships who are actually looking at companies to expand those companies in India. And again, brings me to your own leadership at Rödl India. Absolutely amazing the way you've led through the the evolution of the company, of the organization, even through the redefining of brand identity. Am I right? So how do you do that from a leadership point of view? How do you bring in the clarity and alignment in the organization, within the organization, when it is still evolving?
I think a very important part is transparency and vision. When we started in India, we were fairly small. I joined Rödl in India 2009. We were 2 people. Then I moved to Pune. Pune itself has now 170 people. Mumbai has grown to close to 30 people. Delhi is now 40 people. Bangalore is a growing office. Chennai is a growing office. Ahmedabad is very strong. So I think for leadership is very important that you, in India especially, give a feeling of we are a family. And that is a good thing about the Rödl brand. Because we are a family-owned, family-led business, and we nourish these values. We are not PE-driven. We are value-driven, and there might be years which are slow. Yeah? We don't get into a trouble out of it, though. Our definition of slow is much different than other companies. So we have been blessed by a very strong global brand identity, which we could establish as well in India with getting amazing people. I believe in a sort of karmic relationship or karmic leadership. You have to lead in India. You can't have the European approach where you have a kind of, let me say, this is the job description and you will perform accordingly. In India, young aspiring people, they were all their life told what they have to do. Up to the level in still predominant situations, they are told whom to get married to.
Absolutely. It's so guided.
And suddenly you expect them to be in a professional situation and take their own decisions. You have to guide them to make their own decisions. You have to encourage them. You have to allow mistakes. You have to appreciate efforts. Yeah. I grew up in South Germany, in Baden-Württemberg, where appreciating is not a very big and common thing. There's the saying, if you are not scolded, it's good enough. That shows that you have performed well. That doesn't work in India. You have to really guide the people, and then if you create an mentorship that lasts for ages, we have a very low fluctuation. People stay with us most of the time. Sometimes we have to take as well harsh decisions in order to keep as well the ecosystem healthy. I believe you were told as well by your mother or father that a rotten arm together with a good mango does not
Spoil the whole basket.
Will spoil the whole basket. I think that was a very wise lesson which I got from my parents. And that you have to act here fast. On the other side, what we do very nourish as well is both cultures. We nourish the Indian culture. We allow the Indian culture. We don't have a typical MNC environment where the culture is on the backbone. We allow families to be a part of the whole story.
Good.
And it's challenging every day, but it is in any ways challenging to in any country. I'm really loving the story which we have together with my colleagues here. Young, dynamic team which is success hungry, and that is probably as well which motivates me as well every day. You can see in India, despite of all Gen Z discussions and so on, success-driven youth. You just have to nourish them.
That's beautiful. That tells me it's a conscious leadership. I truly believe that there's so much of a need of a conscious leadership in today's day and time, even more. But in business discussions, you hardly hear of that. And I don't know why, but I feel conscious leadership is something less talked about. And what you brought about knowing the people that you're leading, it's so important.
Absolutely. I think you know the whole, how shall I say, that the patriarchic system which we have in India. And it's for all genders, religions, always a difficult moment to break out of it.
It's true.
And it would be sad if we do that as well in the business environment. Because to truly unfold your potential, you have to be yourself as well, or guide it to be more efficient or better yourself.
You said just now that you grew up in Germany.
Correct.
And now we're trying to adapt to the working culture here in India. And when you lead that, of course, your personality, your belief, your upbringing, everything shows up in the way you lead the organization. Did you have to unlearn something and teach yourself something else? How did you do this and then so successfully leading the whole organization in such a beautiful way?
See, if you don't unlearn or new learn every day as a in your leadership role, then you can't lead, because every person is different. Every individual is different. Every matter which we have, every client is different. We have the Fortune 500 clients, but we have as well small SMEs, sometimes entrepreneurs who have a great idea and want to launch the product on the Indian market. You can't talk on the same way to each of your clients, neither to your team members or colleagues. Everyone is different. And therefore, you have to constantly adapt, constantly reinvent. This is what I motivate as well my leadership and my team, that the only thing which can get us somewhere is if we try to be the better one, the better self, and to not say that I've always done this way. This is something which is the particular way. If you do keep on doing it over generations, it will lead to a mess. Ultimately, you have to adapt, and leadership has to be the most agile, but you have to define your framework. Where and what do you want to achieve? And I think, therefore, I constantly try to change things. Sometimes it irritates my environment, but
that's only being
okay.
human. That's okay. Yeah. That's okay. Thank you so much. It's so beautiful having this conversation in a note where we are talking about how to be more human, really, even Absolutely. In the business environment where everybody feels you have to be in a box, behave in a certain way, but being human just costs nothing, and I'm such an advocate of that.
If I may add here, the German viewers will understand it. I was in a Waldorf school. That's based on the philosophy of Rudolf Steiner, where exactly this being in a box and thinking in a box was prohibited. Up to the level in the school that the architecture was that we didn't have any rectangles, neither in the frames or doors. It was always out of the box thinking. And I believe, if you pass out from this schooling system, you are usually more on an artistic career path. I believe what you said rightly. Being human is a very important mantra for doing business, be it for your customers, for your clients, be it for your team members. If I come back to our original question, what do you do different? Well, here in India, you have to take out your client for a dinner. You have to ask him about his family situation. That is something where especially European people at times do struggle with, because business is business, private is private. Here, everything is together. It's a nice khichdi, or Eintopf, how you say in German, stew.
Beautiful. No wonder you call your office, your colleagues, your organization a family. I see why.
It is.
It's beautiful. Do you think you would like to close this with a few words directly to the ones listening to us, the businesses as well as the aspiring leadership?
India is on the edge to really be a part and should be a part of your company strategy. It should now actually be a center part of your strategy. As of now, it was always an add-on for many companies. But India is a fast developing nation with a youth-inspiring and inspired population, which is success-driven, hungry, technological hungry, and which wants foreign invested companies to further shape as well the future of India. With that, you can then shape your future of your company globally. India is not always easy, surely not. But let's be honest, which country is easy? And if it would be easy, we wouldn't do it. As entrepreneurs, we like and we love the daily challenge of conquering a market, onboarding an unbelievable pool of talent, and that all you can do in India. You have to be patient, you have to be wise and diligent, but that you have to be everywhere. When I moved to India from Germany, I learned one very important statement. If you give the business 1,000 days time, it will thank you. And I think India is actually working like this. You need to invest. Your frustration level might be sometimes stretched to a different level. But the outcome, if you have a good strategy and if you are willing to put India in your own focus from a management and company perspective, it will only grow. You can see so many success stories. Don't focus on the negative stories because mistakes happen everywhere. I believe that the beauty, and that's what is inspiring me almost 20 years leading a German company in India, the amazing, talented and hardworking, success-hungry population and team members. The chances which you can grab every day and try something new. I hope you will be as well a part of this, because with the FTA just around the corner, the reforms which are happening in India, the infrastructure boost, and the slowdown in Europe, unfortunately, India can further boost your business.
Thank you so much for that heartfelt conversation. I enjoyed talking to you, Rahul.
Same here. It was really a pleasure, and I liked it especially because it was not only on numbers and legal or regulatory frameworks. It was about the opportunities, and it was lovely talking to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed this conversation, follow us on our YouTube channel and our social media handles for more of such leadership conversations and insight on Indo-German businesses and beyond.